Coming to America is streaming right now on Amazon Prime. But the question is, should you watch it? Let's find out. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Please, don't waste your time. So the long-awaited sequel to the 1988 hit Coming to America is finally upon us. Did it deliver? Did it live up to the hype? I don't think it did. Not only did it not live up to the hype, to its name, I think it was really bad. I just did not like this movie. Now, before I jump all over this movie and give all of my reasons of why I think it was pretty terrible, let me be objective and tell you the couple things that I actually liked about the movie. For one, I love the costumes. The costume designs, the sets, the patterns, the weavings. I absolutely love African clothing. I love the color, the personality, the designs on them. I loved all of the outfits. I can say that. The outfits, the set design, it was good. I loved it. It was really vibrant, full of life. That was good. What else? I can't really think of anything else in this movie that I genuinely liked. There were a couple things that I could stand that weren't terrible, but man, this movie was really lacking. If there's one more positive that I could pull out of this, one more thing that I didn't hate that I thought was just okay, it was the performances. I think Eddie Murphy was okay. Arsenio Hall was better than Eddie Murphy, but he was just okay. The new guy, Jermaine Fowler, the guy who played his son, he was hands down the best actor in the movie. His lines weren't great, but it really seemed like he was putting in a lot of effort, and it wasn't bad. The performances weren't bad. Other than that, this movie was pretty rough. So the plot is basically this. Hey, do you remember Coming to America, the beloved 1980s classic comedy where Eddie Murphy plays an African king who goes to Queens, New York to find the love of his life? Well, what you didn't know was, off-screen during that movie, he was drugged and raped by Leslie Jones, and now he has an illegitimate son that he must bond with. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is the plot. That is seriously what they went with. 33 years of waiting to make this sequel to this all-time great comedy that people love, and that's what we get? There is a flashback scene with CGI-faced Eddie Murphy where Leslie Jones takes him back to her apartment, and she puffs marijuana into his mouth, and then proceeds to jump on him and rape him. So now he has a kid in America that he has to bond with because his father's dying and he doesn't have a son to get on the throne, and it's so dumb. It's so, I don't actually care because it's movies, it's not real life. I don't actually care, but what is the double standard in Hollywood with rape of men and sexual assault of men being played for laughter every single time? Every single time. It just amazes me that this was written. She drugs him and rapes him. And then guess what? Her character is a horrible person. I'll get into that. Her character gets rewarded for this through the whole movie. She's just a wacky side character who gets to go along on this adventure, even though she drugged and sexually assaulted him in the 80s. I'll get into it. They try to bond Eddie Murphy with his son. They try to flip the script and have his son be the one that now comes to Africa from America. He's a fish out of the water. He doesn't understand all the riches. I don't care. And I will say, I have never seen Coming to America. I will admit that. I've never seen it. I've seen scenes of it. I've seen parts of it on YouTube. But it is revered as a classic comedy. And I'm sure if I have seen it, if I had seen it in the past, if I grew up with it, I would like seeing these characters again. But I guarantee if I saw this movie as a kid or in the 80s and I grew up loving it, if I love this movie, if you love this movie, dude, they completely shit all over the characters. They shit all over Eddie Murphy. They neuter his comedy. The whole movie, it's PG-13, and you can tell, oh my gosh, it's so Nutty Professor Norbit. It feels like an Adam Sandler movie. One of these Adam Sandler movies where he's older and then he just gets his friends together and then they just kind of party and tell lazy jokes, and then they throw sequels in your face. It's no matter what you think about the plot or how it was done or what actually happens in the movie, the worst crime this movie commits is that it's just not funny. And yes, comedy is completely subjective. It is the most subjective art form there really is. You could find something hilarious that I don't, I could, vice versa. You might have thought this movie was hilarious. Maybe these jokes hit you in the right spot, you laughed out loud, but I didn't laugh out loud one single time. And I didn't see any trailers for this movie. I had no expectations. I was like, an Eddie Murphy movie, a sequel to a great comedy. Apparently I haven't seen it. I'll give it a chance. I was wanting to like it, and there were maybe 2 or 3 times where I went, or, huh. Yeah. That's it. 1. Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. He is a really funny guy, and he can't make me laugh one time. My point is, even if comedy is subjective, and I can't tell you what you think is funny, you can't tell me what I think is funny, I'm not going to tell you that I'm right saying this movie isn't funny. We all have our own opinion on comedy, what makes us laugh. But there is a certain bar that you can see, a certain bar that needs to be met for effort, and you can just tell that these jokes were the easiest, laziest jokes that they could come up with. They were so easy. They were nothing new. There was nothing exciting. There was nothing interesting. There were no smart jokes. It was all, Eddie Murphy's son doesn't understand this world, so it's fish out of water comedy. Or Eddie Murphy's daughter's telling him about on fleek. He doesn't understand what on fleek means. McDonald's jokes. The barbershop characters explaining transgenderism and sexual harassment to him because he doesn't understand the new world. Just, there was a joke about shake weights. Just these easy, simple, Adam Sandler-like jokes that belong on Saturday Night Live or a straight-to-DVD rom-com. These jokes were so bad. Slapstick, wacky. I want to know, was the original movie like this? I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Was it the same kind of jokes, or was it better? I don't know, but it had to have been better than this schlock. I don't even know, but my point is, the jokes in this movie were so easy. Whenever they didn't know what to do, they just had a party scene. There were, I guarantee, 4 or 5 party scenes in this movie. When they didn't know what to do, throw a party with big sets, with a bunch of side characters, with a bunch of people in it. Just dancing and singing. I don't understand what they were doing. And then, if they didn't know where to go with the scene, Leslie Jones would just come in and be like, "Oh, I can't believe this! Whoa, this is awesome! I'm poor, I'm from Queens, and this is great! I'm Leslie Jones! Woo!" Oh, the same crap that she always does. Her and Tracy Morgan, he's in this. He's the same character he plays in everything. They were so just blah, so annoying. She was annoying. She was the worst character. And the fact that she is manipulating her son the whole time when they get to Africa. She's telling him, "You gotta do whatever you gotta do to make us stay here. Hey, go do that. Hey, get that done to you. Get that done to you. Whatever. Just whatever to keep me in this palace, to keep me rich." Even though in the 1980s, I drugged and raped a man. And now, I'm getting to reap the benefits. I get to come to his castle and live like a queen and be rich and get to try on his wife's new clothes. And I'm Leslie Jones. And hey, son, she's using him as a pawn to be rich, to stay in Africa. She is such a terribly written character. And she's not funny. And this script is so lazy. Is this the sequel that you guys wanted? Is this the kind of sequels that we're going to get from now on? This is just like Dumb and Dumber. This is the Dumb and Dumber syndrome. A movie that was really popular. Some people say it's an all-time great comedy. 15 years later, they make it again. But Jim Carrey has a daughter unexpectedly out of nowhere that he has to bond with. This movie is copying that verbatim. This movie was lazy. This movie was everything that's wrong with sequels in the world. The jokes didn't work. The acting was okay, but Eddie Murphy, the character, why do you make sequels to movies? So you can see the characters that you loved in the first movie come back and go on new adventures. I'm sure that you were very excited if you loved the first movie to see Eddie Murphy come back and do a bunch of hijinks. You want to see what he's up to 33 years later, how he's acclimated to the world. But for half of the movie, he's really the second or third main character. He's not even in it that much. It's mostly about his son and how he's reacting to it. And Eddie Murphy doesn't say really anything funny. He doesn't do anything new. He doesn't do anything but service the new character that they introduced that we don't care about. Who cares about him? This is a movie about Eddie Murphy's character. Why are they introducing a son and making him the co-main star? And he has 3 daughters in the movie that are set up. They have a couple lines. They're in it for about 10 minutes. And then he goes on this whole journey about, oh, I have a son. I can't believe I have a son that I have to bond with. And he's only focusing on that son. And he's totally neglecting his daughters that he already has that we haven't met. We don't know these people. It's inconsistent. The tone is off. It's unfunny. It's lazy. There's a scene where they're at a party and all of a sudden Salt and Peppa come out and just start rapping for no reason, and Eddie Murphy's just dancing to it. Where's the comedy? There's a scene where Wesley Snipes, his character, is trying to wed his daughter with Eddie Murphy's son so they can join their kingdoms. If he doesn't do it, he's gonna kill everybody. He's the villain. And when he comes in and introduces his daughter to the kingdom, she pulls out a microphone and starts singing for no reason. And then Eddie Murphy's son grabs a mic and starts rapping along with her, and they start doing a musical duet. Why is this happening? What is funny about this? I mean, they even made a joke in the movie about unnecessary sequels calling themselves out, so they know what they're doing. Eddie Murphy seems like he's having fun in this movie, but it doesn't seem like they put a lot of effort into it. It didn't seem like they really tried their absolute best. And it's pretty obvious that this was made simply to make a profit. I don't see any heart into this movie, any originality, any intelligence. They even stop halfway through the movie to give a flashback of the last movie, a 3-minute segment where somebody explains to him what happened in the first movie. They're just showing the footage from the first movie, saying, remember what happened? Remember what happened? Yeah. Well, I don't, but people who watch the movie remember what happened. That's why they're watching this one, because they care about that character. They don't care about this new guy. And the woman that Eddie Murphy marries, she's barely in it. He goes on this whole quest to find the love of his life. He finds her, then it's 33 years later, and they're in 4 or 5 scenes together, but she doesn't do much. I'm glad I haven't seen the first one, and I don't love it, because this movie would piss me off. And it's so obvious that the PG-13 rating is impeding the script from doing anything new, from taking any chances. There's literally a line where he says, I am the MFing king. He it was so cheesy. He was handcuffed. They were basically muzzled from doing any kind of daring or out there jokes in this movie. There are a couple of kind of risque jokes, but it's mostly just slapstick or fish out of water or poopy, farty, dumb Adam Sandler humor. I don't get it. There was a line in the movie that was so bad, I had to write it down. It was the worst line of the movie. Wesley Snipes shows up with his soldiers to take over the kingdom, and Arsenio Hall shows up with a stick and says, defend yourself, you sweat from a baboon's balls. Gotta love that PG-13 humor. Look, if you think this movie was hilarious, that's awesome. I wish that I laughed at it, but I just didn't. If you are a fan of this series, of the past movie, and you are super excited for this, my best recommendation is to just lower your expectations. Lower your standards, because I can't imagine that the original movie was this bad. Not only is this a failed sequel, is it everything that's wrong with sequels? Is it unfunny? Is it unintelligent? Is it forced? Is it lazy? It also craps all over the original character, and I think it's a complete waste of time. Unless you wanted to see Akeem drugged and raped and pushed to the side for a new character, if you wanted that, then you'll love it. Yeah, this gets 2 out of 10 pickles from me. I'm sorry to say it, I really hope you enjoyed this movie. I just did not. But if you did love it, I want to hear why. I want to hear why you thought it was funny, why you enjoyed it, what you enjoyed about it. I want to talk about it. I really appreciate you watching to this point in the video. If you made it through the whole review, you're awesome. And hey, until we meet again, peace! Hey! If you like this video, and you want to see more of my ridiculous content, check out one of these. Maybe you'll enjoy yourself, or maybe you'll watch it and crap your pants. Click one and let's find out.